What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush. And this week is, you got to be able to feel right now what's going on. It is football. 7 days away. Ready to launch this thing. Everybody's got to be pretty excited. We're going to bring in Chris here in a moment when he jumps back on. We're going to preview Dallas Cowboys. The Giants start off with a Sunday and a Monday night game back-to-back. It is going to be an absolute crazy 12 days of Giants madness. So we're going to definitely have a good show for you. We're going to break down what we see. Here's Chris. Bang. There you are, Chris. I thought I lost you.
Yeah. For a second. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody.
All right. So Chris is here. All right, Chris. Everybody is jacked to talk Giants football. The season's here, dude.
Yeah.
You look way too calm.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh, all right. There was a problem with the mic, but before. Yeah, we're a week away. Where'd everything go, right? I feel like we just got the training camp a few weeks ago and we're already here. Wow. We're going into Tuesday tomorrow. We're getting close. Getting close.
Yeah, and I don't know, when it's warm out, I'm never quite ready for football. We start off with a Sunday night game and a Monday night game. It's, for home games, it's going to be a crazy few weeks of Giants football. And I got to tell you, this is the first time I felt this good in a long time. Am I crazy for saying that?
No, I think many Giant fans, all of us, feel the same way. When you look at the depth of this team, we haven't had depth on this roster in years. And you can go, 3 deep on each position and feel confident that you're bringing a guy in off the bench that can do the job and hold it down. So I think the depth on this team is just a world of a difference from a couple years ago.
Yeah, and listen, just so you know, folks, I am on my second laptop and still having technical difficulties. I have no idea why. So there's a little bit of a delay. I apologize. I see you guys loading in the room. What's up, Joe? What's happening? I see you guys. So it seems to be a little bit of a lag. My original laptop died. So I'm on 2 backup laptops. So if it's a little bit of a lag or anything like that, I apologize. We're here. Just bear with us. And again, I see you guys piling in the room, so hello to everybody. All right, Chris, let's preview this game. Let's kind of get into what we expect, what the difference is from last year to this year. And look, this is a different Giant team. Last year was almost like a lump of clay, new head coach, new GM, right? We weren't really sure what we were going to get, last year, right? And now we got a full year of Dable, a full year of Jones in the system, right? A full year of Shane. So now they're very laser focused. And if you've noticed, Chris, I think that timeline has sped up, where we thought we were 3 years away feels feels pretty good that it could be this year, next year.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I think, like you just mentioned, with Kafka coming back, now you have Jones and the offense in the same system. And that's all you heard from training camp was that Jones, just the confidence is oozing, just he's even got more of a zip on his passes. And I just think, putting that, he didn't get the tag and he wasn't franchised last year. I think putting that all behind him, was probably a benefit for him, and he could just go out and play ball now and not have to worry about any of that stuff. And just confidence, bringing in the receivers. There's no excuses this year, other than maybe a little bit on the offensive line as usual here and there. But in terms of weapons, I think we have weapons.
All right, I'm going to dig into some stats for you, and then let's talk about positions. All right, in 2022, Cowboys offense, okay, overall Cowboys offense was ranked 11th in the NFL. Overall Giants offense in 2022 ranked number 19th in the league. So, well, the Giants aren't too far behind, right? Didn't have a lot of weapons. We were relying on Richie James and Slayton, right? So that one doesn't jump out too much. But let's break it down to the next level, right? Rushing offense, okay? This is something I think the Giants can, let's say, hang their hats on. And again, if you're joining us late, thanks for watching another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football 52 weeks of the year. We're breaking down Giants Cowboys this week, and we're kind of digging into a little bit of rankings. The Giants ranked number 4 in the NFL, Chris, last year. Number 4 rushing team in the NFL, only behind Chicago, the Ravens, and the Falcons, and the Cowboys ranked 8th. So let's start right there, right? Because we know Barkley is the spark for the Giants. How does the Giants rushing attack this year stack up against that Cowboys front line? They've always been stout, right? When I look at the against the rush, they were 20th last year against the rush. Not great, not horrendous, but not great. How do the Giants stack up against that D line?
Well, you see the Cowboys added Mozzie Smith, right? The first-round pick from Michigan, I think he was. And so that's going to be interesting to see him and Schmitz if he's lined up over Schmitz, and Schmitz has to, handle him or any of these stunts. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins that battle. But I think in terms of the Giants' offense now, being able to spread the ball around more and not being as one-dimensional as it was last year, I think it's going to even open up the running game even more because you can't load the box anymore like you did in years past, and even more so this year under a second year of Kafka, second-year system with Jones in that system. It's just going to open things up for a Waller, a Campbell. I mean, you think of Kafka, it's the motions, right? It's putting guys in the pre-snap motion, moving guys around, looking for mismatches. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, because like I said, I know last year we heavily relied on Barkley because he was all we had, and it proved out. The Giants ranked 4th in the NFL, ranking from a ranking standpoint for rush, and Dallas was 8th, right? So they're both fairly good rushing teams. Now, again, Zeke's not there. I know Zeke was not a major contributor last year, but it will be different, right? So I do feel good that, like you mentioned, the Giants don't have to rely just on Barkley anymore. So you might not see as many carries for Barkley.
Yeah. And think about this, Craig, with the 12 personnel, when you bring in the 2 tight ends and the 1 back, I mean, you're going to have a Bellinger and a Waller, which shows run. But obviously, both of those guys could get downfield and make a play. So it's going to be fun to watch when you see these double tight end sets and you have Barkley in there where you can't just key on Barkley anymore. You're going to have to worry about Waller. And I think Bellinger is going to be the biggest benefit, is going to benefit one of the most from Waller being here because so much attention is going to be going to Waller.
And we do know, I hate to even quote McCarthy, but he even said, look, it's September football is basically predominantly adjustments, right? Like, because you don't really see much in preseason. There's only 3 games. The veterans don't play. No offensive coordinator wants to roll out anything. Hey, we don't want to show you what we do before it's ready to be shown. So September football is a lot of tinkering and a lot of adjustments, right? So what we see in week 1, we may not see in week 4.
Yeah, and another reason to get Dallas early, right? Let's get them early while the rust is still on, and they before they hit their groove. Because typical Dallas fashion, they will go on a little bit of a run at some point in the season. They don't always finish it, but they go on some sort of a run. So I think it's a good thing that we get them early. Just to what you're saying, that the starters haven't played much. They're going to be working out the kinks, so to speak. So it'd be a good time to take advantage of that early. And likewise, Cowboys are going to want to take advantage of our guys, right? We got 2 outside corners, brand new. First play of the game, I wouldn't be surprised if they test them right away.
All right, don't jump the shark. Let's not get there yet. All right, so let's just stay with the offense, right? So points last year. The Giants didn't have a lot of downfield weapons. They couldn't take the top off the defense, and the biggest spark they had was Isaiah Hodgins coming in mid-year, and wow, did he surprise. But he was really all they had, going vertical, him and Slayton, right? And they bracket up Slayton. There was nowhere to go with the ball, and all of a sudden Hodgins shows up, and all of a sudden there's some life. However, again, just looking at overall rankings, Dallas can score, okay? Dallas was ranked third in the NFL, only behind the two Super Bowl teams, Philly and the Chiefs, for points scored, and the Giants are ranked 16th in points scored. Let's just call it what it is. The Giants had zero playmakers, and as much as I love Slayton, he starts to drift into the number 2, number 3 role on this team, with Waller and Hyatt and Campbell. So I would have to think that the Giants should be, again, and I also too, Chris, we all know that the Dallas brought in a new offensive coordinator. He doesn't have a great reputation, so it could be an advantage that they're a little bit dysfunctional, and then they
Schottenheimer,
Schottenheimer, and they've traded, of course, for Lance. So there could be some upheaval in the Dallas locker room, like we like Dak, we don't like Dak, So I would have to think the Giants should be able to this year, probably the first time in 6-7 years, they'll be able to go toe to toe with them, at least in the scoring points section. Well, does that make sense? Because in the past, I don't think we could really score with them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for years we've been dealing with the Giants being able to only average 20 points a game, if that, right? So I think this year, I think this year is, we break that trend. We were on I think towards the end of last year against the Vikings, and a couple of weeks before we started to, break, go into the 20s, even 30 with the later games. So, hope that's a nice trend. We put up points this year, and I think it's going to happen.
Well, and there's more options, right? Campbell's an option, Hodgins an option, Slayton's an option, Waller's an option, and again, I just look, man, wow, they really can score points. All right, so let's go to the defensive side. Let's explain this to me, because I can't believe, because we all love Wink. We think Wink is like a Belichick type of guy, right? Mm-hmm. Overall defense in 22, the Dallas Cowboys ranked 12th in overall defense. The Giants ranked 25th. Oh my goodness, how is it possible? Now, I get it. We only had a Dory Jackson. We only had a Dory Jackson. We didn't have CB2. McKinney was hurt for half the year or more. We had no inside linebackers, and it was basically Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, were the only bright spots there, right?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Craig. When you have Dexter Lawrence and Leo playing 70% of the snaps, I mean, those guys were, they were getting tired later in the game, and even when you rotated like a Ryder Anderson in or somebody else, just wasn't the same. Inside linebacker position was a problem. Blake Martinez was gone; he was a big run stopper. So I think it wore down, and against the run, it was a problem. But now you see the rotation they're going to have, up the middle in front of these linebackers. So you got 4 guys, that can do the job.
All right, so that's what my next question is. So we know Dallas can score right now. Again, they got a different offensive coordinator in there. They lost their starting guard to the Buffalo Bills. So again, and they brought in the guy to replace him, of course, right? But from a continuity standpoint, that could make a difference. How does the the Giants front stack up against the Dallas? Because again, when I look into Dallas, they didn't run the ball great last year, but they score points throwing the ball down the field, right?
Yeah.
So how does the Giants stack up against, what Dallas wants to do on the ground?
Wow, that's gonna, I think that's the $1 million question, as they say, because that offensive line for Dallas is still pretty good. They re-signed Tyrone Smith. I think they had a little injury with somebody today, actually. Somebody out there probably knows. One of their was it the other offense? Tyrone, was it Steele that had an injury? But anyway, maybe a hamstring. But I think that is the big question, Craig, is because now with this rotation of a Sean Robinson, a Nacho, even a Jordan Riley who's played well in the preseason and made the team, Dexter and Leo, man, it is going to be. I'm sorry.
And let's not forget Tibbs.
And Tibbs, and a healthy Aziz going into week 1. Isaiah Simmons moving all over the place because he's going to be that. He's going to be that guy everywhere. So I don't even know how to answer that. I think it's just going to be interesting to watch how this plays out on next Sunday night. It's really going to be fascinating how the change, how this defense morphed into what it's going to be moving into this season. It's going to be fun to watch.
All right, then let's talk about the $1 million question. We know. Okay, let's get back into. Dallas against the pass, they're ranked 8th. Giants against the pass, 15th. Dallas against the run, 20th. Giants against the run, 25th. Overall, Dallas is ranked 12th. Overall, Giants ranked 25th. As I mentioned a second ago, it's really hard to believe. The Giants have got some playmakers in the defensive backfield now, but they're young and inexperienced. Like, does that worry you at all against this downfield passing off? I mean, look, I don't want to have to remind you again, that the Cowboys are ranked. Let's see, where was it here? Points. Number 3 in the NFL in points. They can score. Now they lost their tight end. Schultz is gone. Mm-hmm. All right. We know Zeke is gone. We got I don't know if you want to call it a quarterback controversy competition. No. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in that locker room.
That'll be for next year. If the Cowboys don't do well, that'll be next year's training camp story.
or it'll be sooner than you think if Dak doesn't do well.
Oh, well, that would be nice too. Yeah.
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 So my question is, with the new offensive coordinator that no one in the NFL believes in, which is beyond me why they signed this cat, and losing their tight end, which was a great security blanket, for Dak, losing Zeke, a couple guys on the offense losing their guard. How does this very young defensive backfield stack up against what the Cowboys want to do? The Cowboys want to go vertical, right? They want to go they are going to throw the ball down the lot, and I'm assuming, and I think you'll agree, but I'll hand it to you. I like Jump Street. They're going at Banks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's basically, what does this cat have? Right. What can he do? Let's go.
Yeah. TBD, to be determined, right? We don't even have I'm worried. Yeah. I mean, until they prove themselves, you got 2 rookies on the outside. However, I think the smart move was putting Adoree on the inside because that's where CeeDee Lamb plays. And I think that had a lot to do with it as well. Having him on the inside because we really needed that slot corner. But yeah, I don't think McCarthy can help himself. He said in the offseason, I want to run the ball. He wants to get back to, a little more power football, run the ball. But I can't see him doing that week 1. He's not going to help himself going after these corners until they prove themselves. So, yeah, it worries me. I mean, these guys are going to have growing pains. We're all going to get crazy and get pissed off if they do a bad job. But we all have to understand these guys are going to have the ups and downs, right? They're not going to be perfect. They are going to have, some peaks and valleys, going through their rookie season. So hopefully they just improve as the season moves along. But, yeah, it worries me week 1.
I mean, Hawkins and, Banks out there starting, right? Hoping, and McKinney's healthy. So you got McKinney there to help guide him. I know he's not calling the defense how Carrique is. But, you got and Adoree playing the slot on the inside. I still think they're going to be tenacious, but listen, McCarthy's full of crap because you know what? Like I'm seriously like that. That dude just needs to stick to eating hot dogs because this whole we've had a lot of time to prepare for the Giants. We want to get back to running the ball. It's a bunch of fucking crap.
I believe it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're going to throw it down the field all night.
Yeah,
they're going to try anyway.
I mean, he must think we're stupid. You know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing for him even to be like, I'm just gonna pound the ball. Like, okay, I've got Okereke, who's 150 tackler a year now on the team. Second year out of Tibbs, healthy Ojulari. Oh, and by the way, Dexter Lawrence and healthy Leo
Yeah.
You're never going to go into a game thinking, oh, I want to run the ball.
Yeah, they should lose their jobs if they don't go after Banks and Hawkins. Are you kidding me? They should that is game plan number one. You go after these guys and you see how they respond. Now, on the flip side with Wink, he knows this, and I think he's going to apply pressure in different ways, different looks, confusion. He always shows stuff that the opposing offense hadn't seen before, when they look at film. So that maybe plays into an Isaiah Simmons, right? His new role on the team, playing a little bit of everywhere. So I'm looking for him to be kind of that mysterious defender out there, not knowing really where he's going to line up and where they're going to send him from.
And McFadden, his specialty in college was blitzing, through the A gap on the inside. So like where you think McFadden's just a thumper, if you look at his college career, I mean, the guy would have a handful of sacks every year blitzing through the A gap. So if they've got, like I said, they got a new guard, got a guy, with a tweaked hamstring, you may see a guy like McFadden, maybe he's only a 2-down linebacker, and maybe Simmons is a little bit more in space a little bit. McFadden could be a surprise too early on with some inside pressure.
And Craig, I'll throw another name for you guys out there is Jason Pinnock. And the reason is Wink loved the way he blitzed last year. And he got a lot of reps when McKinney was out because of his ability to blitz. So I think you're going to see him come down in the box, especially on Sunday night. And you're going to see a lot of looks where he's going to be trying to run free. I think Wink really likes his athleticism. And you saw him come on a ton of blitzes last year. So keep an eye for Pinnock on Sunday night.
Yeah, and what I really more than anything, there's two things that I want to see more than anything on Sunday is, and I know it's a lot to ask, to start off this way, but I just look. I know we don't, it's not. We don't play. Wait, do we play the Lions this year?
No.
Hutchinson had 9 sacks last year, right? I mean, he had like 60 plus tackles last year. He just had a great rookie year, right? I just want to see Thibodeau just wreck games. You know what I mean? Like in year 2, I just want to see him break out and be the guy he can be. Right?
More of that Washington game, right? What we saw at that Washington away game. That's a Thibodeau that we're all, we want to see on a maybe not weekly basis. That was a hell of an effort, but we want to see that more often than not.
Yeah, and especially see against Dallas, because what we know is Dallas has owned the Giants for a freaking decade when it comes to sacks and rushing the quarterback. Like, it's just like, oh, we're playing the Giants, let's just chalk up 6 sacks. Like, it's just like, it's like a staple. The Giants are going to give up 6 sacks.
Right.
Okay. Like, now
and Evan Neal last year that was a terrible night he had against Parsons. His rookie first night. Yep.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't care. That guy with number 11, just block him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if he's not getting it, what's his name's out there? Their other DN outside linebacker.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Lawrence. And like, Lawrence just does one of these things when he's playing the Giants. Yep. I'm coming. And
well, I'll tell you. No, go ahead, correct. Sorry.
I was just saying, like, I've just had enough of the Lawrence show. I've had enough of the Parsons show. Like, I want to get nasty, and I want to see it become the Thibodeau show. Like, like bonk, bonk, bonk. We got one too. Look at number 5 go.
Well, and I think now that we have a Waller, the guy that can stretch the field, it allows the Giants to keep Bellinger in there and that 12 personnel to help out Neal. If Neal struggles Sunday night, I would think Bellinger is going to help him out on the edge there with Parsons. Where last year you really didn't have, Bellinger was your guy. You had him, Myrick, but I think now you have Waller. You can afford to keep Bellinger in and help out Neal.
Yeah, true. I mean, I could see again. Barkley's going to get his touches. He's barely played. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to go. So I could see. Again, I could see them having a unique game plan for Dallas, because Dallas is already chirping like, oh, we've had all this time to prepare for the Giants. Wah, wah. Like, I'm just over it. Like, I just want to put a whooping on Dallas and move the hell on. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, it's
We're
just
tired of it. Yeah, I know.
I am. I'm just, as much as I hate the Eagles, I hate the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just so tired of the Cowboys. Like, it's just like I said, like watching Lawrence just be like this. Yeah, I'll get my 3. I'm like, no more of you. You know what I mean? Like
it reminds me of the Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoons. No matter what Wile E. Coyote did, it never worked. Roadrunner always had him. So that's how I feel as a Giants fan up till now. Hopefully that changes. But I feel like we've been like Wile E. Coyote for the past 7-8 years, 10 years.
Darius is talking about, sacks, are one part of the game. The difference is, Darius, here's the thing, is we haven't had any sacks. We can't sit here and say, well, we don't need them. We'll get pressures. We'll just bring Olivier Vernon back for some pressures. Well, we need to finish. The game is won when you finish. Yes, they're only one part of the game. But whether it's, stopping the sack or getting the sack, finishing is what actually changes the momentum of the game. Yes, pressures are excellent. We need pressure. I get it. But we're going to get pressure, right? Like when you have Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, healthy Aziz and Thibodeau, you're going to get pressure. Now someone needs to finish. Ask the Detroit Lions how it was to get 9.5 sacks out of Aiden Hutchinson last year. It's an enormous win. To actually, get the sack. You
got to get there to help those corners out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got rookie cornerbacks. People are always like, oh, if you have a shutdown cornerback. Guys, the game has to have an end result, right?
Yep.
You can't depend on these guys to knock every pass down or cover for 5 seconds. You need to have finishers. Yeah. And I love all you guys with we just need great corners. Look, 4 Super Bowls in the case because of the pass rush, okay? Whether it was Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and Leonard Marshall and Pepper Johnson, whether it was O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, you need to put the fear of God in the quarterback.
Yeah. And you know what, Craig, another thing that concerns me, and with these damn officials, and I say, these officials, because you have 2 rookie corners, you have a Michael Gallup, a Brandon Cooks, a CeeDee Lamb, they're veterans, right? These guys are going to be jumping up and down every time a ball is incomplete 30, 40 yards down the field looking for a flag. So I want these officials to play this game down the middle. Don't be looking at 2 rookie, corners and you got to throw flags on them all night because you got veterans jumping up and down crying that they didn't get a flag or they got a little tug. So that's the other part. Let's not make this a flag fest with the rookies.
Yeah, and you know what? One thing I will say about the flag is, I hope Banks just lays some dude out because, he's a physical corner and he's not going to be able to play. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He's not going to be able to be as physical as he was in Maryland, right? But, I just want him to be all right, this is my time, and let him get the flag, let it get it out of the way, and then next play, take CeeDee Lamb's helmet off because he's going to need to have some confidence, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're 100% right. Nothing worse than just throwing a bunch of flags because you got 2 rookie corners,
Right.
And look, and Hawkins, he looks great. He has a lot, what would be the word? The curve is going to be a lot longer for him. I mean, he played it, no offense. He played it ODU, okay? He's not seeing a lot of Big Ten SEC wide receivers, right?
Yep.
So if anything, Banks is going to get tested, but whether Banks gets, get the flag or not, he's going to be physical and he's going to be around the ball. You hope that Hawkins isn't just, hey, look good in practice and in preseason. It's a big leap for Mr. Hawkins, and I'm confident that he's going to have help on the inside with Adoree, and he's going to do just fine.
I was just going to say that too. Wink knows this, obviously. So even with the safeties over the top on that side, Hawkins will hopefully get a little help, downfield.
All right, so let's talk about Giants scoring points. Okay, Dallas against the pass, they were ranked 8th against the pass last year, right? That's pretty dang good, all right, against the pass. Now, from a defensive perspective, Dallas didn't lose many guys, you know what I mean? Like, they brought in, who'd they bring in? Dallas brought in
Gilmore, the corner. A little older, but still very good.
Yeah. So this is the first time, since Beckham, since Odell, that we've had enough speed to get vertical. We may not throw many balls to Hyatt, but he is going to be taking somebody deep often, and it may be something where they're throwing a Hodgins and Slayton or Campbell underneath, and Hodgins is more of a decoy. We don't know, right?
Yep. And I'll tell you what, you talk to Cowboy fans, they love they love Diggs, but they all say that, he gets the interceptions, but he gets burned a lot. And you hear that from Cowboy fans all the time, is that he does get burned. So who knows? Maybe see Hyatt light him up Sunday night.
if anything, I'm going to still rest on what I said from the last preseason game is like they now have a little bit of a turbo, and you're going to see a lot of these wide receivers often and early because now, against not the Jets, the game before Carolina, you saw they came right out and it was Waller, Hodgins, Waller, Hyatt. Like they went right with those guys. I could see Waller again coming out and having 3 catches right in the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, for a preseason game, I swear it looked like they game planned that. It just looked like a regular season game, how automatic they came down the field and just knew what they wanted to do. So yeah, I'm anticipating that Sunday as well. For sure.
Now, the wild card is going to be, and let's hear your opinion, is because the narrative needs to change on Simmons, right? Like, there are plenty of people out there saying, guy's a bust, guy's too big to play safety. The guy doesn't, has no discipline to play a linebacker. We don't really know what we're getting with him, right? I think he's got himself a clean slate. And I think Wink's gonna, package him up. And I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming he's in shape, and I'm assuming, he's
well, he went through training camp, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming he's, he's in shape and everything like that. But they got rid of him. So whether it was a personality conflict or, something didn't click in Arizona for him, right?
Well, they didn't want to give him his 5th-year option. They didn't pick that up, and I think that set the tone last year. And I think during training camp, there was, some sour grapes there from what I read and heard that not that he wasn't given 100%, but he was kind of checking out a little bit. That's kind of was the word out in Arizona. As you know, they're a disaster right now. God forgive me for saying that because we play them week 2, so we want to beat them. But you could see what they're doing. They're just clearing house. They don't even have a quarterback right now.
And like I said, and like this cat's got a ton of talent, right?
Yeah.
If they give him the opportunity, to ball out here, like, he's going to make a huge difference, right? Regardless of what position he plays. Like,
and Wink's going to know how to use him because I always go back and we've all said it. We've heard Giant fans say this. He runs a positionless type of defense where he moves guys around. Just because you're a safety doesn't mean you're not going to come in the box. Or just because you're a linebacker doesn't mean you're not going to line up like a Simmons, line up on a slot with his speed to actually cover. Maybe he's more of that Landon Collins role that we wanted Landon Collins to be. And Landon Collins is a little older, and they moved on from him, but he could play that Landon Collins role, a little bit of linebacker, a little bit of safety, move him in the slot. He could be that new hybrid that we were looking for.
I'll say this, and I know it kind of dating myself back to NASCAR, but think about the fact if you put Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, Simmons, and Tibbs all on the line and let them go.
A lot of speed.
Would be, because that was the big thing with the NASCAR defense, right? It was Strahan and Tuck and Ossie and Tollefson, and then they'd throw in Fred Robbins or someone in the middle, right? I could see even putting him as a stand-up outside linebacker and letting him run, letting him go. With Tibbs in there. I could see him lined up next to Okereke. I could see them, like I said, putting him in the box as a safety. But I think the biggest leap that Simmons is going to make is, I think the pressure's off him, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. He's not going to be that every down guy, every down player right off the bat. I think you're going to see him situational, especially on third down. He's coming in there to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, like this defense revolves around Dexter Lawrence and Thibodeau, right? I mean, like, and now, excuse me, and Okereke now. Like those
hopefully Aziz too, right? Hopefully Aziz.
But again, but it doesn't revolve around Aziz because he's been hurt.
Okay,
Your three cogs, are going to be Tibbs, Lawrence, and Okereke now, right? So whatever you get out of Simmons is kind of like gravy. Like, oh, that's awesome. And I'll definitely 100% go out on the skinny limb and say, watch him ball against his old team.
Absolutely. And even Sunday night situational. And I'm sure with the relationship that he has with Dex and what Dex has done to, raise his game the past few years, because, they played together in Clemson. There's a relationship there. I would think, he wants to show and do his part, with this pal Dex saying, hey, I'm new in town, but, I want to be where you are. I want to be that type of player. So hopefully he raises the bar, just by playing with his old buddy.
Now, this is something that like a lot of people probably won't agree with. Dallas ranked 20th against the run last year. I can also see, again, we have a higher powered offense and we're all super excited about it. And we just want to see Jones throwing the ball down the lot. I don't think the Cowboys have done anything to improve on the 20th ranked, defense against the run. We could give them a good taste of Barkley right up front and make it like, when the game turns on that it's Waller and Barkley. And then to see that type of what the results is there and then open it up to the receivers. Because I think the Cowboys are going to expect us to go full gas. And again, they added Gilmore, but we're ranked 20th against the run. I still could see Barkley getting a big taste of this. I don't want to look past Saquon Barkley getting 15 to 18 carries.
Yeah, and a big reason is, they drafted the defensive tackle out of Michigan, Mazi Smith. And they also have our old friend, Jonathan Hankins, who's going to come off the bench. He's going to get a lot of playing time. So the fact that they're, Hankins is still hanging around and playing with them after all these years tells you right there, they're probably not as happy, up the middle. So maybe that's a spot, we attack, right up the middle with Barkley as well. So
and we got a rookie center that's dying to prove himself and mix it up,
Right.
So it's the first time. What did you? I remember clearly when we were talking about the draft. You're like, just draft the real center. Don't draft the guard.
Yes,
big play center, and you got your wish.
Yeah, we've been down this road so how many years? I mean, Weston Richburg never turned out to what we expected, but he was the last, center. We've been through the, what's his name?
Who? Pugh?
No, somebody help me out there with the P. John.
What, for a center?
Yeah, Poia. Remember Poia?
Oh, Pio.
Pio. I mean, we've been through so many guys, and God bless him, he played his heart out, but he just, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we've gone through the list, the litany of centers, guards of centers. We have a guy that's all he does, right? We just want him to play center.
Yeah.
Do a good job.
Yeah, and that's why I think, if you're Kafka, you're like, okay, the Cowboys think we're going to throw gas at them. We're going to gas them all day long, right? And then, you look like, well, they haven't improved that much, stopping the run. They may came up and play. I'm not saying they will. Yeah. They may play small ball for the first quarter. They may go it may be Waller and Bellinger and a lot of Barkley. And then if they start to creep up and close it down and 8 in the box and then go gas. Because I think most teams are going to expect us to go gas.
I agree, and that's why I love the Waller-Bellinger combo, because you don't know. It looks like run, but yet those guys can break free and do damage.
I got to put this up there because I think Jay's lost his mind. Kyler is a good player. Kyler is not – listen, Kyler has the issue of being, Mighty Mouse, very short, can't really do much in the pocket, and he runs he's bailing out too early. Like the Tibbs and Ojulari should have a field day with that next week. You know, they paid that cat a lot of money. We're not going to talk about Arizona right now, but I was just like, come on, man. Let's not pump up Kyler Murray right now. It's like a fire sale in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what are the keys to the game? Give me your top 3, top 5 keys to the game. What do they have to do? What do they have to avoid doing?
Well, I think what we mentioned before with the 2 rookie corners, we have to get to Dak and apply the pressure. That you can't let him sit back there with 2 rookies that are getting their feet wet and going through some growing pains. So we need pressure on Dak. Obviously, stopping the run was an issue last year later in the game. So we need that rotation, right, of Ashawn, the Nacho, and with Dex and Leo, stopping the run early, make the Cowboys one-dimensional. And I think on offense, I think you're going to – the Cowboys, every Sunday night game, under the lights, America's team, we've heard it before a million times. They're going to be pumped up. They're going to be overly aggressive. And I think what you're going to see Kafka, key is misdirection, right? Let them over pursue. I think the creativity with a Paris Campbell in the backfield, moving guys in motion, Waller playing tight, and now he's in the slot. So I think that's a key on offense, is just keeping them guessing. The 12 personnel, yeah, it looks like run, but you know what? You got a Bellinger, Waller, and you're going to hammer the run. You're going to keep showing it. And then before you know it, you have Waller breaking one on a seam. And God knows we haven't had seam passes, since
what's a seam
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So my point is, set them up, right? We're going to set them up, and that's what I hope Kafka's going to do. Showing those looks and setting them up for a big play, explosive plays. That's what I think we're built for now. Explosive plays.
I think so. I'll throw in here's my keys to the game. I think the very first thing is protecting Jones. Like letting Jones settle in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good one.
Because the offensive line needs to gel. And Neil hurt, Neil not hurt. Who's playing right guard? Like they need. I'm assuming it's going to be. It's
Frederson.
I'm assuming it's Bredesen.
Yeah.
JMS, Glowinski, and Neil.
Yep.
Like all I want to see is these cats settle in, protect Jones, and in the beginning, like I said, it might be small ball, which Jones can play, right? Jones can play small ball, no problem. Let Barkley get his touches. Let Barkley get in a rhythm. Let Waller on the slant getting some rhythm, right? So my first key is just protect Jones. Let him feel and see what's downfield, right?
Yeah.
Because he all last year, they protected him fairly well, right? I mean, what do I have here? Giant against the right Dallas. I mean, rushing, passing offense. The issue last year, not only was it the line based, but you didn't have dynamic enough receivers to get separation, right?
Yeah, you saw stuff change when Hodgins came into the fold, and then you started to see things change a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. So my first key is protect Jones, let him settle in, and be like, "Hey, I got that guy. Oh, look, I got that guy. Oh, look, I got that guy." And all of a sudden, Jones is feeling good about the game plan and the execution.
Yeah, and Craig, you almost get the feeling Kafka, unlike years ago where you had the run to set up the pass. With Kafka, you get the feeling that it's really the pass to set up the run. He likes to get those, 4, 5, 6 yards off the bat on first down with a short pass, or and then have that manageable second and third down. So I feel like that first down, unlike Giant teams from years ago, it's a pass first type of offense to set up the run.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of a go back to the the Carolina game where you got Waller involved early. I think he caught like three of the first 4 passes or something like that. So I can definitely see that again. Maybe start off with a little bit of small ball. I would be shocked if they just came out flamethrowing stuff. And going long. I would be shocked.
Me too.
It would be ballsy. It would be fun as hell. The stadium's going to be rocking, right, on Sunday night. Like, this is not your father's Giants team anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, they are, I wouldn't be shocked if they went gas. But if they did, I wouldn't complain. But
to your point, Craig, maybe that first play, that's what they do, just to put them on notice. Just one, just to put them on notice right from the start.
Just flame.
I'm not saying every down, just on that first play. Just put them on notice,
Yeah. So there is a little bit of that.
Yep.
I do think like they're going to key up on Waller. So if he's there, you're going to have Bellinger, right? You're going to have Bellinger. But I think believe it or not, I think it's a sneaky game for Saquon Barkley. Again, they haven't improved their run defense at all. They did draft a young guy out of Michigan, right? Boo, Michigan. But they drafted him to stop the run. I don't know. I think this could be a tale of two halves, right? Like pounding Barkley and Waller in the first half, and then gassing with Campbell and Hodgins and Hyatt in the second half a little bit more frequently. Like they're gonna go out to score 30 points, right? Because the Giants aren't known to score more than 21 points. In fact, it took them a decade to get to 21 points a game. There was a time where they couldn't score over 19 points a game. I think the whole McAdoo-Shermer era, they could not score over 19 points a game, if I remember correctly.
You're absolutely right. They were averaging under 20 during that whole time.
And it was like, and you would be like, no, it's not that bad. And then you would go back and look at it, and you were like, wow, we suck. Yeah. Like now I think there's going to be a time, whether it's early or late, gas, right? Yep. Gilmore's not a young cat, but he can still play.
Yeah.
All right. So that would be my second key. My third key would be to is more like letting Wink be Wink. Like letting having no expectations. Like sometimes Giants fans they get we didn't blitz enough, right? Or we didn't run 3 safety high enough or whatever, right? Like I think like the key is to let the Giants defense kind of just gel, because there's a lot of new dudes. So you don't want to put all this I don't want you guys going crazy. Like, why aren't we rushing more? Why aren't we sacking more? Why aren't we blitzing more? Why don't we I think the defense doesn't know what it is right now.
Yeah.
A lot of young dudes out there, right? Okerike's new. We got Banks, you got Hawkins, you got Owens. You got a lot of young guys. So I think on offense is let them breathe. Let it unfold. Yeah. You're not going to pound the rock against the Giants, especially with Okereke here. If they hadn't assigned Okereke, I might be like, Dexter and Leo play a lot of snaps, But I think that you're going to see some adjustments made throughout the game. What the defense you see in the first quarter will not be the same defense you see in the fourth quarter. That's just me.
Yeah.
All right, then tell me, if the Giants are going to win, is it a shootout or is it going to be a defensive game?
I think it's kind of in between. Turnover battle, right? Turnovers are key as always. So, I'd like to see the Giants get to be a +1, maybe a +2 if they were to win this game over the Cowboys. But I think in the 20s, I think we're seeing this, maybe a 24-20, 27-24, somewhere in the mid-20s range. I don't think it gets to 30. I think it's going to be mid-20s. First game, I don't think it's going to be as crazy as we may think the next matchup could be.
I was going to look it up. Someone look up for me in the chat. There's a ton of you guys in here. I see Jay Patel. I see Darius, Joe, Mark B. I see Jay. I see Tom. I see. Oh, where'd you go? I see a couple other guys in here. I might have lost them throughout the show. Oh, CDNY 545. CDNY Giants, I guess it is. NYG 500. So welcome to the show. I don't recognize that before, so thanks for tuning in. Here's what I need to know. How many interceptions? I see Chris D. What's up, Chris? How many picks did Dak throw last year? Where is he? I was going to look it up, but how many picks did he have last year? Because I know Jones did really well, really turned his game around with interceptions. Where is Dak? Because I think Ojulari and Tibbs, might be making Dak a little bit nervous this coming Sunday. So if anybody has that handy, throw that in the chat. Where
Dak had 15 picks last year.
Joe D popped it in there. Thanks, Joe D.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, so and Jay says Dak had a lot of pressure on him this year. Yeah, without a doubt, you already brought a guy in. I'm not really sure why you brought him in because the kid can't play QB anyway. I'm not a fan. You know, you already did all. If you look at the story, like they basically never saw Trey Lance play live.
And they got him for a fourth, and they traded a fourth, which is a decent pick, a fourth rounder. I mean, yeah. You mean to tell me they wanted him out of there anyway? You couldn't get a 7. That's a lot to give up. For
crazy.
him.
And like I said, and then how does like Lynch is a smart dude. Like, how do you go and draft a cat you never saw play live? Like, I mean,
and he only played one full season of college football as a starter.
Chris, I have said this. People get all over me. I will continue to say this. It's just a fact. Like, you can't really succeed at the NFL level if your experience is 1 year of college ball and 3 years of high school football. Like, you just don't have the experience to run an NFL team, to be a leader of men, when the only thing you've done is start 1 year of college ball, whether it's Trubisky or Lance or, you know, or any of these cats, you know, Mahomes 2.5 years, most of these guys have, Lawrence, these guys play 2 years. Mm-hmm. Some of them played 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. What do you call it? Herbert? I mean, Herbert came back for a fourth year.
Yeah, right? Gettleman wanted him. He was scouting him.
Yeah. So you just don't succeed. I mean, is there an anomaly, an outlier? I'm sure there's one out there. I haven't seen anyone in modern football. You need the experience. Some of these cats, like I feel bad. I know this is a Giant show, but I actually feel a little bad for Richardson because there's a lot of pressure on him to resurrect that franchise. And I don't know if you can do it at 20 years old. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Dude's a freak, right? He's crazy athletic. I feel bad. If he had stayed in school one more year, he'd be the first pick in the draft, and then he'd have another year of experience. So the good thing is that we've got Jones, has 5 years in the league.
Yeah.
Finally, they paid him, and now he's got some players around him.
Yeah, and consistency with coaching staff.
That is accurate because the unsung hero, the Sunday's game, is going to be Kafka.
I like it.
Because Kafka last year was a rookie. You get a little bit worried, like, hey, should I try this? Should I not? Can I lean back a little bit like Fat Joe here and just be like, I'm not ready to quite unleash that, right? So, and now this year, because he's got head coaching opportunities, in interviews that he had, I think he's like all up in this thing. Like he's ready to just go, because whatever he does this year, if they don't go to the NFC Championship game, or if they don't, he's going to get a gig. The only way he's coming back is if they're a game from the Super Bowl,
right?
Like he would, I think, because he's going to go. If you think he's going to get a head coaching job next year, the year after. Mm-hmm. When you get a new coach, when you get a head coaching job, you usually go to a team that sucks, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This team is, could be a year away from winning the Super Bowl. Yep. So if they went to the NFC Championship game, or if they went into the NFC, divisional game, Kafka may return because he knows they're that close.
You think? I think he would just leave because you don't get many. Because head coaching jobs are hard to come by, So I don't know. I think if he was,
that's the question. Are they?
You don't get a lot of time. You don't get a lot of time. But if you have, an opportunity to go to a franchise that's not dysfunctional, I think that would play a part too. An actual franchise that's run properly. Yeah. Now, please, McCarthy, his time is probably running out if he doesn't win something soon. I don't want him going to Dallas with Jerry Jones. They see him. They see Kafka twice a year. They know him. I don't want McCarthy. His time's running out too. Please, don't go to Dallas.
Yeah, well, hiring that offensive coordinator is like, what? Like what? I was like, I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah, Jet fans weren't crazy about him back in the day.
Yeah,
when he was
I
with
mean,
the
I'm not
Jets.
saying
Yeah.
he can't have a bounce back year, but like the
Yeah.
kid they had, like, listen, hello, the Cowboys, Cowboys offense was ranked number 11th in the NFL, and points for the year they ranked third. How bad could the offensive coordinator be?
Yeah. You heard a lot of Cowboy fans complain about Kellen Moore, but I thought he did. You know, he had, I guess, games where maybe they weren't happy, but nobody's perfect. But I feel like Cowboy fans really wanted him out of there. And Jerry Jones, I feel like, God, he listens to the radio, he listens to all the Cowboy fans, and he pulled the trigger on that. It wasn't McCarthy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, it's funny because the Cowboys are like oddly dysfunctional, right?
They
Like,
are.
they're not dysfunctional like a regular team is. They're dysfunctional in a whole nother way, right? Because it's like, think about it. One is you don't have anybody like Jerry Jones in the NFL where the 80-year-old owner, is getting plastic surgery on the weekend and then being the GM the rest of the week, right?
Yeah. He's talking injuries on the radio shows. Like, he talks about the players and their injuries and if they're going to play or not. Could you imagine? As much as we give Mara shit, and he's awesome. Listen, John Mara, great. Imagine if John Mara was like that. The Giant fans would lose their minds if we had an owner that just would pop on a radio and start talking personnel. Get this guy, that guy. We're going to get rid of him. Wow. How do they deal with that?
Then you have, like, a guy that you paid like a shit ton of money to in Ezekiel Elliott, and he plays like 5 snaps a game. And then, like, you know what I mean? And, like, he goes from, like, badass back to, like couch potato. Like, I mean, he gets all, like, chunky, and he's got the crazy hair, and you're like, what is happening? Right?
Yeah, I think Jones has that grandpa-type heart. He really loves his guys. He has those guys, right? Like, he had his Michael Irvins, Ezekiel, even Terrell Owens to a point. And even Jalen Smith, the linebacker, he gave him a ton of money. I think he has his guys where I think he lets his emotions maybe and his personal feelings get in the way of actual business decisions, because he does throw a lot of money at the guys he likes, and it doesn't work out so many times. We've heard the story. He wanted Johnny Manziel. His brother stopped him.
Yeah. I mean, but, like, again, like, it's like their players become like cartoon characters, right?
Yeah, not his brother, his son. We check that. His son.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Delete that from the show.
Right.
Yeah, they become like cartoon characters, right? Like, again, like here he's like, Zeke comes in, and he crushes it. Next thing you know, he's fat and he's got his hair's crazy and his nose is pierced and he's jumping in the bowl in the end zone. Like, I was like, wow.
Oh, thank God we don't have to see that anymore. Yeah. Right.
And then you get like I said, Michael Parsons I think it was Parsons talking crap about Dak at training camp a couple weeks ago in practice.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that kind of stuff anywhere.
Yep. Right.
So, like, they're always dysfunctional at a really weird way,
Yeah. And like, McCarthy never really reels him in, because I think he just lets Jones deal with it. And, like, McCarthy doesn't really do much. He doesn't police it. It's more like, Jones just let him deal with it. It's very strange.
Yeah, again, like, and like people say, like, oh, Dallas Cowboys fans are idiots. Here's the thing. They're only idiots when they don't live in Dallas. If you've ever been to Dallas Cowboy fans are fine. They're normal. They're normal folks. It's the rest of the nut jobs around the country that are Dallas fans are the ones that are horrible to be around.
Yep.
So, well, look, a couple housekeeping things, guys. One, if you are playing in the Ballers Fantasy Football League, the draft is Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock. Okay, so that's the draft. We got 12 people in there. It's going to be a blast. So we want to wish everyone good luck. Spartan Mike is your commissioner, right? And he's going to be basically the only time I may have to step in, or Chris may have to step in, or Alex is, believe it or not, Spartan Mike is getting married at the end of the month. So he will be out of pocket for a couple weeks, and we have to take over. So if you see some erratic behavior in the Fantasy Football League, that's probably me or Chris filling it. Secondly, folks, I put a brand new store up. I really would love for you guys to check it out. Let me know what you think. I've got ice shakers on there, sweatshirts, hoodies, for the girls. I mean, I got yoga pants and crop tops and you know, I mean, there's bikinis in there. Okay, buy your girl a Giants Rush bikini. But so you know, like Chris is wearing the King Rush shirt on right now. Yeah, those are in there. So I mean, we got, you know, and you guys know every year I turn out a new logo, right? We went from the crystal skull, you know, to the regular skull, to the skull with the crown on it, with the no jaw. Like every year we come up with a new logo, you know, to have some fun. So if you can, just go to NYGIANTSRUSH.com. There's plenty of content up there to read. Michael the Truth is always banging out articles. He'll be back with Coach's Corner. I'll probably take over Java with Jones, so I'll be breaking down Daniel Jones every Monday. Now, the Giants are playing on Sunday, just to give you an idea. We will, of course, have the show on Monday. The week after the Giants play, the next home game, when they play on Monday, the show will get moved to Tuesday because we won't be there. So check out that. And I think that's all I got. If you have any questions, but I appreciate you guys. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, just like this. Hit the button, subscribe to the show. It helps us out. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Threads. Follow us. And then, of course, it's available, as you can see on the ticker, Spotify, Apple Pods, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Play. So if you're walking the dog or you're at the gym, take us with us, you know, and listen to the show. Let us know what you think. Working on more interviews for you guys coming up. Jay, is Rush Hour dead? Rush Hour is dead, but not really. What's happening with Rush Hour is we're going to turn it into a draft show, and we're going to turn it into a preview show. So check this out. A little bit of an exclusive, and then we'll let you guys go for the evening. Mondays is always Rush, right? Giants Rush on Monday. We talk about what happened in the game the day before. Rush Hour is going to be, we're not really going to do fantasy football. We're not going to do gambling. But what we are going to do is we're going to preview the next game. So after, let's say Arizona's coming up, we'll preview the game on Rush Hour. Still working out the kinks. Who's going to host it? Maybe it'll be you, Jay. The Darius and Jay show may host it. We never know.
Nice.
So tune in. Rush Hour is still, you know, it's still there. We still got it. It's just not sports gambling, and it's not fantasy football. So we are keeping everything lean and mean here to give you the best Giants content as possible. Really appreciate all the support you guys have given us. Again, love it if you would check the store out for me and let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter. Follow these guys. Check out the store. Good luck to all you fantasy football players. And Chris, do you have a score, or are you not going to go down that road?
No, I'm going to give a score. I'm going to say Giants 28, Cowboys 25. Weird number. I know. 28-25.
Dang. See, I don't like to do it. But if I have to, I'm thinking like 24-23.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking this game is like down to the wire, and Gano just does Gano. You know what I mean? Like
game winner. You're saying coming down with a minute left
I'm calling a walk-off for Gano.
Wow. Oh God. Us Giant fans, man, we're gonna have heart attacks that whole drive. Really, right out of the gates, we're gonna deal with it. Oh my God.
Hey, I want to put this up here because I have to put this up here to end the show. I won't make a comment. I will not make a comment, but I just wanted to throw that up there just in case anybody was reading. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I hope you guys kind of got a little better idea how we stack up against Cowboys. And look, it's going to be a great year. Lock it in. It's going to take a little while for these guys to gel. We'll see you back here next Monday.
Greg, if I could add one more thing that happened before the show. Cole Beasley, who was probably going to be on the 53, was put on injured reserve on the practice squad, which is very strange. You don't see that often. So that applies just like if he was on the 53 roster. He has to be out a minimum of 4 games. In turn, it looks like the Giants are signing Cam Sims, who was a receiver with Washington for the past 4 years. So he'll go to the practice squad, and we'll have to wait on Beasley to see what happens in 4 weeks.
That almost feels like a little bit of Victor Cruz, right? I mean, like,
yeah. But he's had that nagging leg injury, going back a few weeks in training camp. But they said he was coming along. But they're not releasing him. But he's going on the injured reserve. So I would still think we're going to see Beasley at some point on the 53.
Him and Cooper Kupp, by the way. Cooper Kupp literally had to go to a hamstring specialist to find out why he keeps pulling his hamstring. So Beasley and Kupp, kind of similar type of receivers, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. Cooper Kupp is 4 times better than Beasley, but they're smaller, shiftier guys. So
shifty, right? Exactly.
But good to know. Appreciate that update. The Giants are a fairly healthy team going into this game. So unlike where we normally limp into the first game, we are knock on wood. We are fairly healthy. Let's go,
Greg,
Giants.
that was your best line all night. I love it. You saved the best line for the end. Love it.
All right. See you guys next week.